HarperCollins presents The Pumpkin Spice Café by Laurie Gilmore. Read by Regina Reagan. Chapter 1. Jeanie Ellis had never killed a man before, but tonight might be the night. Desperate times and all. She clutched the baseball bat tighter in her fist and crept down the rickety back staircase. She hadn't slept in 3 nights. Not since moving into the apartment above her aunt's cafe. Well, her cafe, technically. Jeanie was officially the new owner of the Pumpkin Spice Café, her Aunt Dot's pride and joy, until exactly 2 weeks ago, when the older woman announced she was retiring and taking off for the Caribbean for a few weeks to work on her tan. Apparently Dot could think of no one better to take over her beloved cafe than her favorite, and only, as Jeanie pointed out, niece. An idea that now seemed completely absurd as Jeanie tiptoed off the last step, prepared for battle. Every night she'd heard strange noises, scritchy, scratchy type noises, with the occasional clangy, bangy type noise. At first, she tried to chalk it up to the wind, or maybe an animal scurrying through the back alley. She absolutely refused to let her mind take off down a path to the worst-case scenario, like she usually did. She would not allow herself to imagine an escaped serial killer creeping up her back steps. That banging was definitely not an armed robber, here to take the meager change her aunt kept in the cash register. Jeanie was starting fresh. Jeanie was a new woman. The quaint seaside town of Dream Harbor and its inhabitants knew nothing about her, and she planned to take full advantage of that. A shuffling noise at the back door caught her attention. She would take full advantage of her new life, new Jeanie plan as soon as she figured out what was keeping her up at night. No one could live a laid-back, quaint, small-town life with a murderer outside their back door. That was just logical. She choked up on the bat and crossed the small hallway between the stairs and the door that led to the alley behind the cafe. Although alley wasn't quite the right word for it. Alley conjured images of overflowing trash cans and scurrying rats. But Jeanie wasn't in Boston anymore. She was in Dream Harbor, which she was convinced someone must have actually dreamt up. It was far too idyllic to have sprung up naturally. No, the space behind the cafe and the other businesses on Main Street was more like its own little side street, with room for delivery trucks and tidy trash bins. She'd even seen some of the other shop owners taking breaks and chit-chatting back there during the day. Not that she'd talked to anyone yet. She wasn't quite ready for that, for being the new kid. Jeanie shook her head. Her thoughts were way off track, and she was about to be potentially murdered. Alley or not, whatever was out there was keeping her awake, and after 3 nights without sleep, she was barely holding it together. She rested the bat on her shoulder and reached for the doorknob. It was nearly dawn, and a weak gray light seeped through the window over the door. Oh, good, Jeanie thought vaguely. At least I'll be able to see my attacker before I die. With that less than pleasant thought in her head, not at all the positive new persona she was shooting for, she yanked open the door and came face to face with a crate of small pumpkins. Gourds? It didn't matter, because before Jeanie could get her produce names sorted, the giant man holding the crate of small pumpkins spoke. Or, at least, he made a gruff, startled noise that reminded Jeanie that she was currently holding a baseball bat in a very aggressive manner. She nearly dropped it to her side, but then she remembered. This was still a large, strange man, gourds or no gourds. She probably shouldn't let her guard down just yet. "Who are you?" she asked, keeping one hand on the door, in case she had to slam it in this mysterious pumpkin man's face. His dark eyebrows rose a fraction of an inch, as though he was surprised by her question. "Logan Anders," he said, as though that would clear things up for her. It didn't. "And what are you doing in my back alley, Logan Anders?" she asked. He blew out a frustrated-sounding breath and shifted the crate in his arms. It was probably heavy, but Jeanie would not compromise her safety just because this man was the picture of autumnal bounty with his crate of vegetables and his worn flannel shirt and thick
Sample complete. Ready to continue?